want to talk about what happens in your brain when you meditate. In our normal waking consciousness, we spend most of our time in the beta brainwave state. So in the beta state, our brainwaves are oscillating between 14 and 30 hertz or cycles per second. And this is the state of consciousness we spend most of our days in, where we're constantly thinking, we have mental chatter that's ongoing, we might be constantly busy doing things, might have mild stress or anxiety. This is beta. We're very familiar with this state. When we meditate, what we're doing is we're intentionally slowing down our brainwaves. And when we meditate, we can get into what's called an alpha brainwave state. And this is when our brainwaves are oscillating at between 7 and 13 hertz. In this state, we are more aware of the subtleties of our perception, and we become more insightful, intuitive, and imaginative. And neuroscience also shows that in this state, our brain reorganizes and optimizes itself for better functioning. So when you meditate, when you first start to meditate, you'll be in the beta state, and you'll notice your brain or your mind and your thoughts constantly in the future and the past. And you'll be thinking about this, you might have anxieties, things you did or didn't do. And at first, you'll just be observing this kind of chaos in your brain. But if you persist with meditation for 10 minutes or longer, depending on your current state of mind, how often you meditate, you'll get into an alpha state where these thoughts quiet and you feel more in tune and connected in your body. And you'll still have thoughts, but they'll be more subtle, and they won't be as continuous. It won't be this continuous mental chatter like you have in the beta state. So being in this alpha state is really important. We can also achieve alpha state when we're doing things we love. When we're exercising, we can often achieve it. When we're in flow states, we're in alpha state. And when we meditate, and what we're doing is we're entraining our brains to be more in this alpha state, more in a state of mindfulness and presence and flow. If we stick with meditation for a period of time, we'll be able to access the theta brainwave state, which is between 4 and 7 hertz. And the theta brainwave state we're familiar with because we pass through it each evening when we go to sleep. It's the state we enter between being awake and being asleep. That state we enter before we fall asleep. You probably won't remember each evening when you fall asleep because you're in a theta state and you're not conscious of that unless you're an experienced meditator and you're able to more be aware of that. So in the theta state, it's even more relaxation. It's a very deep, rejuvenating state. And there's even another brainwave state called delta. And delta is below 4 hertz. And delta is very mysterious to science. Delta is a state we enter in very deep, dreamless sleep. And it's believed it's a state where we achieve reorganization or our memories are processed, activity during the day, and we have rejuvenation of our mind, body, and spirit, essentially. Meditators that do it for years, like monks and yogis, can basically enter the delta state very easily, or maybe not very easily, but they can enter it on a daily basis. And a lot of these sort of practitioners that are very experienced will not even sleep. They will just meditate, and they'll access this delta and theta ranges through their meditations where they don't actually need sleep. So it's important to meditate because we basically can slow down our brain waves, change our perception, relax ourselves, and optimize our minds. And the normal waking consciousness, where we identify ourselves with our thoughts, is really a prison. And it doesn't seem that way normally, when we're in this state, but when we start to quiet our minds, we realize there's so much more to reality than we normally perceive. And through meditation, we can kind of expand our mind, expand our awareness, and we do this by slowing down our brain waves so we're more aware of the subtleties of perception. Okay, thank you for watching.